Welcome to the Progtalks by the Progspace. Welcome to the Progtalks, an interview series by the Progspace where we will be talking to musicians in all corners of the progressive music scene.
Welcome back to another episode of the Progtalks. I'm your host, Dario. And as always, before we jump into today's topic and welcome today's guests, a little reminder, please get us a cup of tea, coffee, and a little donation always helps a lot. Keeping up the Progtalks and the Progspace running. Thanks so much for your support and for your interest, and thanks for tuning in. And with that said, let's welcome today's guests. The one you will have seen 2 weeks ago already, if you watched the episode about with Acque Furtive, is Luca della Rosa from Caen in the Normandy. Hi, Luca. Welcome back. And joining us today as well is Lola Damblant-Soler from Nancy, is that correct?
Metz.
Close enough. Close. And today we want to talk about the second Soledad album, which is called 13 or 13. I don't know what
13.
you...
We're good.
Okay.
13. Actually, in French, I always say like 13 because I'm lazy, but 13.
Now we say Soledad.
Yeah, actually, we say Soledad. We don't say 13 at all. It's like Soledad.
Yes, and it is out on April 15th, so a couple of days after this episode drops. And it is not the 13th album of Soledad, as we just established. This is the second. And for those of you out there who remember the first Soledad album, Catharsis, that was a solo project by Lola. And Lulu was also producing it, just like this time around again. But so this is kind of the never change a winning team part of the deal here. But there's a couple of other people on the album and also in the band now. So it's not a solo project anymore. So Lola, tell us what happened between there and now. So at what point did you recruit some more musicians to make Soledad a full proper band?
Yeah, okay. So actually when I was like, when was that? It was in like 2019. We all joined a music school in Nancy. So that's why you thought I was in Nancy. I'm not anymore. But yeah, we met up there and I met like, actually there were two members back then that I knew before. But I met what is now the core element to Soledad, who are like Théo Pinte, who is on rhythmic guitar, and Julien Giet, who is on drums. And we met, and actually it's funny because they're like a bit of a mashup of myself. Julien is more into like prog rock and classics, and Théo is more into like Djent and modern stuff. So it was a very nice mashup, and we always played together during our year at school and stuff like that, and we decided to stick together, I guess. So yeah.
Wonderful. One thing that stood out immediately for me, listening to 13 or Soledad for the first time, which was a couple of months ago already, thanks to you, as you sent me the files a while ago already. Is that it sounds very much somehow a lot more diverse than Catharsis was, even though Catharsis was kind of, it had very different elements. It had like some songs sounded completely different than others, but it was kind of a compact whole, like it was it was like very much the same vibe throughout the whole album, and this album is more like scattered throughout. Just taking the first two songs here, Hanging Over Me, which is kind of not dark and brutal at all, and then you get slapped in the face with the Hex following up. So what was different with the? Let's talk a little bit about the songwriting process. Was it even though there's more people to the band or in the band right now, was it still you like who came up with the basis for the songs?
Absolutely, all the bases are mine. So it's still me doing it. But I think like I started to write Catharsis back in 2016 already. So it was a long time ago, and I learned a lot since. So the major thing that changed is progression, I guess, and improvement and learning new stuff. And actually, the big difference between Catharsis and 13 is that I think it's a bit less show off, you know. It's more focused on the tiny things. I don't know how to say that, but it's more focused and clear and less spread, you know. I don't know how to explain that. It's kind of subjective, but I feel it's more focused really on the important things. So the main, the stuff that don't really change between Catharsis and 13 are it's that they're both concept albums. So that's just how I write. I mean, I need a story to be able to write music behind and to be able to develop that storytelling, you know, and to enphase that story with music. So that's how the main basis was done. And that's actually how I did Catharsis as well. So I had my text, lyrics, more like story, lyrics, and then music at the end. Not for my migraine though, because
first single.
Yeah, actually, I didn't really have the story behind first because it was actually written first, I guess. Lulu, I don't know if you remember, but I sent it to you many years ago, and it was already written, and I was it already had that kind of synth, you know, at the beginning. it was way cheaper than it is now. But yeah, so actually I tend to have story, then lyrics, then music, and that didn't change from Catharsis. But what actually changed is that I know more about theory and especially harmony now, and I managed to refocus and take more time.
You said, you said it's more focused. The songwriting, you feel you were able to focus more on the songs rather than kind of go into a show off or something. And of course you don't, there's no 25-minute track on 13, so that's but one element that is very, very important for Soledad and for the music is the symphonic element, of course. And while there's a lot of symphonic metal bands out there that in almost all cases, it's I don't know how to describe it, maybe happy power metal or whatever. It's very different from what you are doing, and I'm not sure if it's only the metal aspect that is different, like more mainstream, straightforward, four on the floor, like galloping this, or if it's also just different influences from the classical era. I think. I don't know. What do you feel about it?
Actually, the symphonic elements are like really important to me, and for Lulu as well. You know that. So actually, I don't want to make symphonic metal, which is really branded towards that kind of heavy power metal with synths of strings and like just Aeolian everywhere, and just kind of it bores me a bit. But I
just wanted to say boring. You can say that.
I guess. So, no, I don't want to hurt anyone and to sound bitchy, but actually,
shitstorm ensuing. No.
Actually, I really want like. In symphonic metal, the focus is really on strings, and I really wanted to enhance all the winds and stuff like that. So my screen shut down. Okay, so actually I wanted to enhance all the like horns, trumpets, trombones.
Yeah, that's. I also think it's like also knowing some classical music. I think it's a very important part of a symphony orchestra for the, at least for the Romantic era, of course. And
actually, I'm more into the Romantic era as well, and so is Lulu, I guess. Really dig like romantic music, and actually a bit of baroque as well for the harmonic progressions that were really innovative. But for the orchestration and instrumentation part, we're really into romantic music, and I really wanted to put it to another level, and Lulu as well in 13. For example.
There's. I mean, you said there's a lot of emphasis on strings only and the usual symphonic metal. There's also a lot of string sounds on 13, I think, but for a lot of times it is also contrasting with the very heavy parts with the Djenty guitars. It's a lot of times it's kind of really cool and funny pizzicato stuff that's going on. That's like very different to the very broad when the strings are just having this huge it's like a carpet,
Actually, with everyone involved in the project, we like to call Soledad Disney Djent. That's what it is. It's just basically you take Disney and you put Djent on it, and there's also a lot of waltzy rhythms with the 6 and 3 or I like tenary rhythms, so I like it. We joke about it with Lucas.
So since we're talking about classical music, which would you say who are your favorite classical composers, or is there any particular piece of symphony or other piece of music that you were particularly fond of and really listen to a lot?
Actually, like there's this one I really listen to a lot because I sang it with my chore in musicology, and it's the Requiem de Verdi's Requiem. Which
okay.
I love.
Okay.
You've got it on your.
No, I've got something else. This is the German Requiem from Brahms. And
Right.
this is my favorite piece. And
Yeah.
if everything goes all right, I will be singing it again with the Munich choir soon. And I'm super happy about that because this is pure doom metal.
Yeah, actually,
like without the metal, obviously, but it's pure doom.
Mood. So yeah, my favorite piece will be Verdi's Requiem. Then I think my favorites, like composers, will be Chopin and Debussy.
Very French.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, like Debussy for.
Piano?
I don't know how to say that, but Debussy for the orchestration parts and the way and the harmony as well, and Chopin because he makes me cry every time.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, in the title track of 13, there's actually like some middle part that is more like a piano concert. And it made me think of one of my favorite, electronic artists, more or less, or electronic art pop, whatever. Susanne Sundfør, she's amazing, and on I think it was in the album 10 Love Songs. Was it? There was this song Memoriam.
Memorial.
Yeah, Memorial.
Yeah.
And it's the same. There's also like a piano concert part in the middle. Of course, the beginning and the end is more pop music with her, not like with Soledad where you have the heavy Djent guitars.
Love this song. Like the main theme is amazing, and actually it's Gabi who made me listen to it for the first time.
Ah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Luca, what about you? You I think you didn't really say anything until now.
Actually, for the symphonic part, Lucas is more to be asked than me because.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask who's playing the piano there.
I am.
C'est toi.
Yeah. Well, I actually pretty much wrote all of the middle section because Lola asked me. She was like, I need an interlude here, like a really romantic one. And it was just like, I just suggested I could do it because like that's my shit. And it's funny because I also know the song Memorial and I love it, but I don't think it had any impact on me writing it at all because I wasn't responsible for the structure. So the fact that there's a symphonic interlude in the middle is just Lola's choice. It's not me. And then writing it, it was very literal romantic influences, like legitimate ones, not just influences from people who do things like that, like interludes in modern music. It was more like Russian composers of the actual romantic era, I would say.
And yeah, who would you quote as your favorite composers?
In general, there would, like in all of classical music, there would be too much to say. But I would say for this specific topic, like for this interlude, my biggest influences were probably Rachmaninoff and Tchaikovsky. And what's his name? The guy who did Rhapsody in Blue.
Gershwin.
Yeah. There's a little bit of him in the piano as well, I think. That's mostly it, I think.
Yeah, prog nerd question. Did you listen to the Rhapsody in Blue version from Liquid Tension Experiment last year?
I don't think so. I don't think I checked the album, so
I think you should do it. It's so much fun. Yeah. it's very yeah. Lola?
I think I started it, but it like bothered me a bit. So I don't know. I should maybe try to listen to it again.
Yeah, I was so surprised last year how much I really liked the whole album because I think pretty much similar to a lot of people, both fans and musicians in the prog scene, this kind of, show off prog metal is not that much en vogue still. And if you have bands like Leprous, you see they're going into a totally different direction, focusing on songwriting and emotion rather than technical show-offs. But yeah, if you take it for what it is, I think LTE3 was a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, we kind of drifted off into the music and nerding. But earlier, Lola, you already said a little bit about the concept, like that you like to write concept albums, and Catharsis was pretty much you coping with the traumatic experience. So what did you write about this time for 13?
Okay, so basically what I want to try to do is making like some kind of red line between all the albums I'm gonna release, and like having like a following story, or stuff that can stick to it. So actually it's a bit the same, like Catharsis. Wait, I'm just gonna I'm gonna edit that. So yeah, actually Catharsis was more I don't know if we can say that, autobiographical.
Yeah.
Like
autobiographic, I think.
Actually, it was like self-centered. It was my story and literally my story. Whereas 13 isn't my story. But actually, when I wrote Migraine, how did I do that?
Maybe you took some, please.
I got what I wanted to say. Actually, for a moment during my PTSD period, I had like some kind of symptom that happened only once, and it was me like being blind for like just 30 seconds, but I was like blinded and I couldn't see anything. And it actually led me to the concept of the second album, which is the main character loses her sight, and she has to make she loses her sight due to the witch, who is Suzy.
We're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah. So Suzy is the witch. She is bewitching me, basically. I lose my sight. She loses her sight. Same shit. And the whole concept is about the trip and to find the remedy and the end. I don't know how to say the concept, but yeah.
Now you just brought us to the next interesting part that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, is the guest musicians on the album, and starting with Suzy. She's on the second track called Hex, as you just said. She's a witch bewitching you. Suzy is, of course, the amazing singer from Lucas' other band, Archetype. And I remember when you were in Caen recording with Luca, I remember you saying that you were getting like some vocal coaching from her. And
Till now.
Yeah, right. She's offering lessons. I actually considered myself to ask her for some lessons because she's amazing. I have to see if she can translate that what she's conveying with her voice when she sings, also in a didactic way. Yeah. So how did it did you have in mind from the start when you came up with a concept that you want to have guest vocals for this role, for this character, or did you just think when you were doing live coaching sessions with her that you thought, okay, this would be awesome?
Okay, so actually I had Susie in mind for years for a guest. So when I was writing Hex and the lyrics had a witch in it with like a spell and stuff like that to say, I was like, this is for Susie, no matter what, this is for Susie, and I won't want anyone else. Like, so yeah. And actually she started coaching me after the recordings, and now time to time we have like some lessons to, like, if you want to know, we like actually right now we're working a lot on belting and mixed voice. So yeah,
that stuff I could like I would need to learn as well if I wanted to sing metal, because I only have my classical training, which kind of stands in the way of using my voice properly in a pop or rock setting, because anytime I open my mouth to form a note, a tone, it will automatically make it round and beautiful and full, and that's like usually not really wanted in pop and rock contexts or metal even. Right? Wonderful. Yeah, it's great to hear her on Hex, and I hope we'll hear her soon on Archetype 1. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, we will one day.
But there's some more guests on 13, notably some guitar solos again, just like on Catharsis, where there were amazing guitar guests, Sumia Geshami and Loam McLaughlin and Hugo from Fractal Universe, and also Lulu. But this time you brought in some new guitarists. Tell us who they are.
Okay, so like I can consider Lucas a guest as well for like the songwriting part in 13. So I'm gonna count Lucas in. So actually they're not really newcomers in in 13, but yeah.
But the guitar solos, right?
Yeah,
the soloists.
Let's go. They were both my teachers in Nancy. And like their playing moved me so much every time we were in lesson, like in class with them, and we had, I don't know, like it's moved me so much. And actually I asked Hassan first for migraine, because it was like harmonic minor and kind of moving like between chords. It like the harmonic progression is a little more complex during the bridge and the solo part than the rest of the song. So I was like, actually Hassan would be like an amazing fit, because he's really into Holdsworth and stuff like that. So he really like enhances harmony and stuff like that. So I really wanted Hassan for that. And Jeremy, he's just an alien, He's like, I don't know how to explain that. He's really a sweetheart. He's very humble, and I didn't know what he would come with actually.
We're talking about the guitar solo on Shelter 1, right?
Yeah, Shelter 1. Actually, I didn't know what he could do. And actually, now I'm thinking again, I sent him like 2 songs to pick, and he picked like he didn't pick. He played like 2 versions of solos for each song. And so I didn't have like 1 solo, I had 4 to pick between. I was like, what? Okay. And actually the one in the album is the first he played and I listened to. And when I opened the WeTransfer and I listened to it, I was like crying. You can't even imagine, like I was crying super hard. And I know I'm not the only one to have cried during that solo, because it's like
everyone has.
Yeah. Basically. I know someone who said like, it's weird, I don't like it. But I'm like, that's why it's the fucking best solo ever. But yeah, I cried, and I was like, no matter what comes after that, when I was like listening to the files, I was like, no matter what comes after, this is the one. And
nothing can top that.
Like it was a very visceral reaction I had, because it fitted so much the mood, and it's not spoiling, but it's just pure genius, and I would have never thought about it. And actually during the first listens I was like, how the fuck did it that? And even after, when I'm like right now I'm trying to transcribe all the music into sheets, his solo is impossible to transcribe. I managed to do it, but yeah, it was a nightmare. But
okay, good. You mentioned. Otherwise, I would have put you in contact with a friend of mine who is usually always transcribing everything they do at the Freak Guitar Camp from IA Eklund. Is the bass player from the Swedish prog metal band Andromeda. And his name eludes me right now, but he's awesome. What's his name? Maybe I'll find out during.
It's okay.
But, so if anyone would have been able to do it, he would be the one.
Yeah, actually, we did our own parts, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make all the guests. Actually, I tried to transcribe Lucas, but MIDI files doesn't want to fit in it, so I had to like quantize a lot, and it was a nightmare to do it. I don't know if I send it to you, Lucas.
I don't think so. But I always have a very hard time transcribing my own solos. And sometimes people want tabs, and I'm like, I play in a very rubato way where I don't fit in very precise rhythmic places. I like to have my licks just speeding up and slowing down, which is very much a romantic influence. You know, it's very much of a Chopin or Liszt thing to have the phrases speed up and then slow down. Yeah. I do that a lot in my solos, but then if I want to transcribe that to paper, as like it would work on a classical context if you can write that it's speeding up and slowing down every time. But if it's a guitar profile that's supposed to be playing back, you know, unless you just automate the tempo all the time, it won't work, because you're supposed to have the drums and bass and everything be still tight. So in order to have one of the instruments be rubato, it's very hard to program into Guitar Pro. And I think Jérémy was a little bit like this as well, but on top of that, he also uses bottlenecks. He does a lot of slide guitar. And so he's very hard to transcribe because the notes are never one note, then another, etc. It's a lot of sliding between pitches all the time. And I kind of do that, but without bottlenecks. I do it with a lot of whammy bar and actual sliding of the fingers. But it makes transcribing very hard. So,
or you just use an EBow, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the Evo is fine. Like it only changes the fact that you constantly have a sound that's going on. But if you do something tight with your left hand, it will still be easy to transcribe. But if you play in a way that Jeremy does, I wouldn't want to have to transcribe it.
I did.
Metal Archives to the rescue, and Linus Abrahamson is the guy. Very, very, very cool guy. Wow, awesome. I really, really can't wait for the world out there to hear 13. It's a killer record, and I already said it I think 2 weeks ago in the Aqua Furtiva episode that it is the most listened album for me this year so far, even though it's not even out.
Okay. Actually, I listened to Road to Square One today. What a killer. Congrats, Lucas, because I didn't say it yet because I was busy, but it was...
Say it to Iago.
And I think I did already. I don't know. Not sure. Maybe.
Yeah, we had an interesting conversation this afternoon on with Iago and Lola, back and forth this afternoon about some shady PR practices and people trying to scam young artists for PR services, which was kind of funny, but also a little bit weird because you never know what the motivation of these people is.
Yeah. You told me he's legit, but I'm like, it's still shady. I don't know. It's still shady.
Yes.
I don't know what to think about it, but yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. What's next after the release of 13 for Soledad?
Good. Actually, we're what's hard for life is that we're really split into friends, so we can't really say let's rehearse every Saturday, for example. We all have our stuff, but every time we have a rehearsal, it's magic because it's so tight because the guys actually work behind, so it's cool. And when we get to rehearsal, it's so tight and we can work on many songs during the same rehearsal time without having to book many times our schedule. And so we would like to go on stage. Go on stage for real. Actually, we partnered with Tourvi, who is a label owned by my best friend. It's a non-profit label owned by my best friend, who is basically my brother from another mother. And he's a booker in real life for the Link Prod. I don't know if you know the Link Production. They have.
There's actually. I won't take my camera now to show there, but there's a poster up there from Hypnose.
Yeah,
where there's the Link Production logo above my bed.
Mm-hmm. So they have Hypnose, Perturbator, Tribalium, and big bands actually, big French bands. They had Ginger for a while for France booking, I guess. So Thomas works here, and he also has his non-profits on the side, and Soledad is in it.
Awesome.
We will have his expertise to book us maybe when we are ready. So live. We also have our crowdfunding that's running to be able to fund the album and produce the merch and stuff like that, and be able to move on to projects.
Yeah, so the crowdfunding is like a lot of bands are doing it nowadays. Is that I think you did it, like you produce the album, and once it's finished, you come up with the crowdfunding, and this way you help like pre-finance the manufacturing costs for the CDs and for the merch and stuff. Yeah,
it was if we go less into like promotion and showing off stuff, but that's still interesting to talk about it, like what we wanted to do. I didn't want to put like anyone at risk, for example Lulu or Robin, who was the director of Migraine. I wanted to pay those people first, and I wasn't like I wasn't going to tell them like, yeah, wait, we're going to do a crowdfunding first and then maybe you're gonna get paid. So no, that's not how it works. So we paid Lucas, we paid Robin, and actually we had a first step that was like maybe 550 euros, if my memory is right, which is now down. We are far from the second, I guess, step. But yeah, actually we wanted to make like a crowdfunding to refund everything and to be able to provide, and also to make it work like a pre-order, to be able to not like order like, for example, 500 CDs if we don't need them, you know.
Yeah.
And to be able to like target our audience and stuff like that. It was really, and actually it's funny because it kind of is some marketing content, because it is promo stuff that goes to the album and the album goes to the crowdfunding, and it's some kind of cycle, and we managed to make it that way. So yeah, it's not a crowdfunding to make an actual project, it's a crowdfunding to refund us if possible, and that works like kind of a pre-order. So the advantages are that the listener will have an album no matter what, because it's done, but it just helps us for the future, you know. That's what.
How long is it gonna run still?
We have the second 13 days.
Okay.
We're in trouble. Let me tell you that we're in trouble.
So it's actually going until the day of the album release.
Yeah.
So once this episode drops on Wednesday, before the album release, it's Wednesday the 13th.
Oh.
Yes. So if you listen to this on the 13th or 14th of April, you still have 2 or 1 days to contribute to the crowdfunding. Otherwise, if you listen to it afterwards, you can still get the album. I'm pretty sure you can still order it. And that brings us to my last point. As always, get the album, support the artists, buy it on Bandcamp, I guess, or if this pre-order is still running, the crowdfunding, do it there to support the band directly. Follow Soledad on their socials. We're gonna show the links somewhere, everywhere in the screen, and also in the description below. As always, thank you Lola, and thank you Lulu for joining us today for the Progtalks.
Welcome. Thank you for letting us talk, I guess.
Yeah, thanks.
And once again, a quick reminder to get us here at the Progtalks a cup of tea or coffee. Really helps us out a lot, as well as liking, subscribing, commenting. You will find all the links to our socials as well in the description. That's it for today. Until next time, take care of yourselves and keep spreading that prog love.
the Progtalks, produced by the Progspace. Main host, Rune Belsvik Reinås. Produced by Rune Belsvik Reinås, Vanessa and Matthias Kirsch. All graphics and animations by Vanessa Kirsch. Intro theme by Giuseppe Negri. Outro theme by Zach Munowitz. This was the Progtalks by the Progspace. See you in a week.